Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon here on YouTube, and then I post it up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. Okay, so a couple of announcements. We have 3 tickets left for Las Vegas. Last time I checked, we had 7 people signed up. We usually take 10. I'm assuming we could probably, oh, you made it. Awesome, yay. We could probably get a few more tickets if we need to. I will talk to Chris about that. If we go over 10, I'll see if we can get more people, and then we'll just find a different place to do it. So there is that. Also, the cruise is still available. If you are interested in going on the cruise with us, that is still available. We can still book cabins all the way up until when the ship leaves. It's just that they won't be all grouped together. So there is that. Also, for those of you that cannot make it to the cruise, I am doing a lecture and a book signing in Orlando on the 14th of December. So there that is. Okay. Think that was it. If you're interested in purchasing merchandise like cups, these are available on Mercury/shop. Wait, mercury.com/shop, I believe it is, but go to the Mercury website and it will have links to how to buy cups and or merchandise and or things like that. Okay, this is going to be a really huge topic. So I don't even know where to begin. So, okay. So Dwayne Robert and I were talking. He's another YouTube person. He's a dad that's been through a divorce with a disordered person. He's got his own channel. He's awesome. I love him. He's a really great guy. And we were talking on Friday because he saw that I was going to be doing something on divorces and stuff. And he was like, make sure you cover that it's not always a good idea to poke the bear. And it's not always a good idea to wake up sleeping lions kind of thing. So I want to talk about that with divorces, because I think that we sometimes when we get into a divorce, people get so angry and so hurt and so, what is right, what is wrong, I want the kids to be taken care of and I want to make them pay and blah, 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 which I understand. I mean, but sometimes good enough is going to have to be good enough because, okay, so let's back up, because my brain is all over the place. All right. In a divorce. And I want to talk about porn addiction as well, because when we're divorcing an ex that is disordered, male or female, and I want to make this really clear, abusers are both male and female and or any other gender you can possibly think of. It's not exclusive to men are the bad guys and women are the victim. Bullshit. It can be everybody. Okay. So when you are divorcing a disordered person, male, female, same-sex marriage, not same-sex marriage, doesn't matter. You are going to be experiencing a divorce unlike any other divorce. Divorces are hard enough as it is. Okay. When a couple realizes, this is not working, we need to split, in a healthy situation. And I have seen healthy divorces, guys. It's like, everybody's like, no, all divorces are horrible. No, they're not. Because when a couple has married too young and they're relatively healthy, and as they age and they go, yeah, we have no interests together. We don't have any similar hobbies. We're just not meant to be. This is not working. I'm not happy. You're not happy. Let's split. Even if there are children involved, they put the children first. And yes, I have seen it happen when there's no personality disorders involved or no mental health issues involved. They split it down the middle. They are fair about the custody. They do 50-50 and they share the kids and they work as a unit towards making sure that those little ones grow up safe and healthy and sane. Now, that's not going to happen when you're divorcing somebody who's a narcissist or who is malignant borderline. It ain't going to happen. It's not. I wish it would. It's not going to. Oh my God. I think my makeup is running all over my face. What the hell? Allergies. Anyway, because now it's cool and everything is blooming. What the fuck? Anyway. Okay. So what's going to happen when you go to divorce your abuser? Everything is a win situation for them. They cannot lose. That is their mindset. Everything is a win or lose. It's not about the good of the kids. It's not about the good of themselves even. They must win at all costs. And the kids and you end up getting used as pawns, no matter what. So they will fight you on everything. They will fight you over every last pen. They will fight you over every last fork. They will fight you over every last everything. What I have seen some narcissists do, because they're so goddamn arrogant, is they will represent themselves as their own attorney. And as we all know, somebody who represents themselves as for their own attorney has a fool for a client. And what they will do, because they don't understand the court system, they think they do. They think they've seen enough, the courtroom dramas to understand how the courts work. No, courts don't work the way it does in television. The judges, listen to me now, believe me later. The judges want you off their docket as quickly as possible. So if you're going to be sitting there fighting over every last spoon and fork and pen, the judges are going to hate you, okay? And it's not going to go well for you. So what I've seen narcissists do is they either are their own attorney, and then they file motion after motion after motion after motion after motion. Because remember, they would rather have a fucked up dysfunctional connection to somebody than no connection at all. And so if they can keep the divorce going and going and going and going, and the drama going and going and going, and that's supply for them. So Dwayne Robert and I were talking about, the impossibility of going no contact when there are children concerned, and that it is really important that you make it crystal clear in the court proceedings that you will not have phone conversations with your ex, that it is to be through email only, email and text only, and the only way you're responding is if it has to do with the children. Now, what I have seen disordered exes do is that they start off with, well, I'm concerned about little Billy, and the next 6 pages are a condemnation of everything you have done ever on the face of the planet, with them, without them, imagined, whatever. You've got to get into the habit of not responding to everything, guys. You've got to get into the habit of not responding to everything. You only respond to when it is about the children and their well-being. That's it. You owe them goose egg, okay? And according to the courts, if you are doing the emails and it is responding only to what the needs of the kids are, they have no problem with that. Now, the narcissist or the abuser is going to have a problem with that, because you're not sitting there defending yourself. Well, but that's not true, and da 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 da. No, 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 no. You don't want to do that. You don't want to never get into a battle of the wits with an unarmed person. It's not a good idea. So what you want to do is you want to just address what is about the kids, okay? And I'm going to get into porn addiction. Don't worry, I will get there. Hang on a second. The other thing you want to be aware of is that sometimes, okay, the divorce gets done, everything's settled, you've got 50-50 custody, or you've got whatever custody agreement you've got, and they're supposed to be paying child support. So oftentimes what I also see abusers do is that they will claim that they're not working. They'll get money under the table from someplace. They'll be working under the table. They'll stop paying child support. Well, then the other person goes, that's not fair. I want the money. That's not fair. I need to take care of the kids. And that's true. So they go back and they say, hey, you're not paying child support, which then leads them into this whole thing. Again, they're looking for confrontation. So really, the only time you want to poke the bear is if you are destitute and you have to have that money to take care of the kids. That's the only time. If things are going relatively smooth and you're able to handle it without their money, at least in the state of Arizona, you can wait until the kids are 18 and then go back and retroactively have them served so that they are forced to pay in. Okay. So you'll have to check with your state laws. And sometimes that's a better option. Why? If you can handle it without their money, if you can do it without them, so much the better. Because if you're having to poke the bear every 6 months, a year, whatever, to get money out of them, and then they come back flaming and they re-up everything, and then they try to take you to court and they do this, that, and the other thing. Sometimes, you know what, guys? Sometimes it's better to wait until the kids are 18. And it depends on your state law. So I'm not an attorney. I don't play one on TV. You want to go talk to an attorney in your area and ask them what you can do to get the arrears taken care of and how you can do it so that they don't come back at you. Now, let's talk about addiction. So oftentimes, when you are dealing with a disordered person, they will also have an addiction, and usually it will be a porn addiction. Why? I don't know, but it is. So they will be addicted to prostitutes. They will be addicted to strip clubs. They will be addicted to porn online. They will be addicted to whatever, fill in the blank, catfishing. catfishing. So they get their jollies off of going on to dating sites and pretending to be whatever and catfishing somebody. It's all addictive. It's all addictive. So what happens though is, okay, you've got kids involved, right? The spouse is addicted to porn. And this goes for females too, guys. It's not just male realm. I want to make that exceedingly clear. Anybody can be a sex addict. Anybody. But with narcissists, they pull the sex addict card as oh, I'm a sex addict. I have an addiction. I can't help it. I'm going to be having affairs on you because I'm addicted to sex. Bullshit. That's why you have Sex Addicts Anonymous out there. So do you see where I'm going with that? So it's an addiction like anything else, but they use that. They use that as I can't help it bullshit. So what ends up happening is they watch porn, they watch porn, they watch porn, they do porn, they get prostitutes, they do whatever. You've got kids involved. If you have not been speaking to your children about sex, this is where the problem comes in. They see mom or dad engaging in these porn addiction type behaviors, that gets normalized. The kids start doing it. And now you've got two people with a sex addiction going on. So why is porn not that great? Okay, hold the phone. Let's talk about sexuality. We are visual creatures, both men and women. I get so tired of everybody going, oh, it's just men. Men are sexual creatures. No, women are sexual creatures too. And everybody likes a beautiful body. It is true. There is a reason I was in love with Gerard Butler, still am. He smokes too much. But anyway, the point being is that we like to look. We do. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, when you get into the realm of pornography, they distort what a normal sex life is and what a normal body looks like and how people respond to sexuality. So in other words, if you're watching porn your entire life, you're in your head, the idea of a normal sex life or a normal body is going to be somebody who weighs 98 pounds wet with ginormous boobs, or a man who is hung like a horse, and the sexual acts are going to go on for 45 minutes. That's not how it goes, guys. It doesn't, So it's really important to talk to your children about sex. And we don't in our society. And we don't because of all the weirdness about it. We've got to talk to them about why porn isn't good. It gives, fake ideas of how sex goes and what the bodies look like and what we should expect and this, that, and the other thing. Yes, kids can become addicted to sex. If they've been exposed to porn since they were, sexually active teenagers, and that's their idea of what is normal, they're going to have a lot of problems growing up in life having a normal, healthy sexual relationship with somebody because they've got a very skewed, mistaken idea of what a sex life is like or what bodies look like, that kind of thing. So when you've got an ex that is a porn addict, okay, and you are dealing with teenagers that are now looking at the porn because the ex is looking at porn, that's when you need to really put your foot down and start getting involved. And you should have been involved prior to that. But what I'm trying to say is you need to talk to your kids about what sex is, what normal sex is, how bodies look, that they're all different shapes and sizes, that some people last 15 minutes, other people last 10, it's some people can do 20, and if you're younger, I'm sure you can go longer, and not everybody orgasms at the drop of a hat. It's true. And some people can, and some people can't. It just depends on the person and their level of sexual need and sexuality and libido. Okay. So, and this is where I think it gets really skewed, is because in every single porn, it's the formula, it's like guy walks in, girl walks in, whatever, suddenly, oops, we're naked. And there's this incredible sex act, swinging from the chandeliers going on for 45 minutes or whatever, and it's unreal. I worked in LA. Okay. I knew a lot of people who did editing on those kind of videos, and they would come over and we'd have dinner parties and then we would talk. There are fluffers in between each shot that fluff up the guy and get him going again for the next scene. I mean, it's really incredibly abusive and unrealistic. And so there that is. Okay. Where was I going with this? Because I just totally went off on a tangent. Okay. So when the ex has got a sex addiction, you've got to talk to the kids. You've got to talk to the kids. If you don't, it's going to be a problem. And if they are engaging in watching porn while the kids are over there on a visit and the kids are reporting that, you need to file a DCS report. You do. If nothing else, you need paper trail to show, I'm concerned, this person is watching porn in front of my child. I'm not okay with this. This is not okay with my personal belief system. It's fine if they watch porn on their own where nobody can see it. That's great, because we can't control them. Remember that. But if they are watching porn in front of your children, that is a DCS call, Department of Children's Services. So every state has some sort of Department of Children's Services. It's either Children's Social Protection or Children's Protective Services or Department of Children's Services or something. Look it up. So if there is porn being viewed in front of the kid, yes, that is a DCS call. Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely. The other thing you want to do too is you want to get the kids into therapy. And this is the thing. When you are divorcing a disordered person, their big thing is they don't want anybody to have anything viewing what they're doing. So in other words, they will fight you on therapy. They will. And they'll, if you've got joint custody or joint sharing of medical issues, they will push that you can't have it. So you must put in the divorce decree that the children are allowed to have therapy. That is the time to do it. Why? Because if you do it afterwards and you've got joint sharing, they'll fight you on it and you'll never get them into therapy. So you want to do that during the divorce proceeding, because then during the divorce proceeding, if they refuse to allow the children therapy, the judge is going to look at them and go, why? What's going on? And usually the judge will side with the parent that wants to have therapy for their children, because that's in the best interest of the children. So again, speak to an attorney, make sure you get this down. All right. So what to do if that is going on? You file a DCS report. You go online and you call or whatever, and you file a report. It may just be a FYI report. There's no abuse going on, but I just wanted to make sure that, everything's kosher over there. Now, here's the other thing. This is all a double-edged sword. I have also seen abusers use DCS as a way to harass, harm, manipulate. They'll file report after report after report on the opposing person, even though there's nothing going on. Okay. But if there is something like that going on, absolutely, you want to file a DCS report. Now, somebody else questioned, what about you're single, you're separated, but the ex is having the kids sleep in the bed with them? That's a tough one, guys. That is a tough. This is why I hate it when couples get divorced and they've got kids and one is disordered, because it puts the kids at peril. So here's the deal. In Arizona, at least, there is really not much you can do unless there is molestation going on, okay? Because in our state, the rents are through the roof. A one-bedroom apartment is close to $1,000. A two-bedroom apartment is well over $1,000. So you've got kids, you've divorced, the ex has tried to bankrupt you as much as they possibly can. You've got a one-bedroom or even a studio, and you're trying to house the kids and have them have a safe place and everything like that. The spouse then calls CPS and says, oh, well, they're sharing the same bed and da-da-da-da-da. CPS will take that as a, okay, FYI report. They'll come over, they'll do an investigation, and then they'll go back and go, there's nothing going on, because they'll interview the kids and everything. So unless there is molestation going on and the child is telling you about that, there is nothing you can do about sharing a bed, basically. Now, if the child is sharing a bed with a disordered parent and they are telling you that there is abuse, or you suspect abuse, the behavior has changed, they're becoming sexual all of a sudden, they know things they shouldn't, et cetera, then you need to contact a pediatrician, get a physical exam, contact CPS, DCS. I wish they would frickin' quit changing the name. Anyway, all of that, and get that rocking and rolling. So it sucks. It basically, the system is set up to the point where it can't do anything until something happens. It's not preemptive. It's after the horses have already left the barn. So that sucks. But anyway, so that is what you need to be watching for with that. As far as dealing with an ex with a porn addiction is concerned, there is not a lot you can do. You do want to be very careful about what therapists you get your child involved with. So what will happen in a divorce, especially if there's a disordered person and you're concerned because you see addiction issues, whether it's porn or alcohol or drugs or, whatever, And your older child is saying, I don't want to go anymore. I'm done. I don't want to see mom. I don't want to see dad. They're always on the computer. They're always, looking at this, that, or the other thing, or they're stoned, or they're drunk when I'm over there, or, whatever. Okay. Oftentimes the abuser will hire a quote unquote reunification therapist. Okay. And the therapists that they look for are humanists. So the child will report whatever is going on to the therapist. The therapist will come back and go, we don't want to hurt their little feelings. Let's not call it what it really is. Let's just say you're unhappy with the way dad is acting instead, or daughter or mom is acting. And instead of calling it what it is, they downplay it, which does more damage to the kid, which minimalizes what's going on with the kid, which invalidates what's going on with the kid, and the kid feels helpless. And then the dad or the mom gets their way and gets more time with the child. So that's why I'm saying, if you suspect anything hinky going on, you must call DCS, you must call CPS, right? So whatever it's called in your state, and get it reported so that you have a paper trail to follow. Also, if the parent is drunk, if the parent is on drugs and you can prove it, yes, call DCS, get a paper trail going. That is the best way to do it. You need another set of eyes on it. If the therapist that has been chosen for reunification or whatever starts enforcing their belief system onto the situation, you are then going to want to file a complaint with that state's local board. Okay? The job of a therapist is to protect the kid. Protect the kid, reunify the family if possible. But when it becomes obvious that there's a problem, ethically, they have to protect the kid. So if you're concerned about that, don't feel bad about filing a complaint with your state board. Okay. What abusers do? Sex to them is a power and control issue. That's why they like the prostitutes, the gigolos, the whatever, because they're in control. They're buying it. That person will be whoever they want them to be because they have bought them. It's kind of the same thing with porn. It's completely removed from emotions. It's completely removed from intimacy. There is no chance of real emotions, no chance of real intimacy. It's on a screen. They can control whether they're, engaging in it or not. Okay. So remember, for them, sex is all about power and control. Do disordered parents molest their own children? Yeah, they can. They absolutely can. They absolutely can. My dad molested me, and he was married. And my mom unfortunately knew about it, and she did nothing. So in that case, if you are a family member and you suspect molestation going on and the parent is not doing anything, feel free to call CPS. Abso-fucking-lutely. So let CPS do the investigation. It's not your job to be the investigator. If the kid comes to you and says, hey, I'm being molested, mom or dad are doing nothing about it, you call CPS. Abso-fucking-lutely. All right, drug addictions. So abusers use drugs and alcohol because they hate themselves. People who love themselves do not abuse their own body, okay? Either with food, sex, drugs, alcohol, porn, whatever. They hate themselves, and they're trying to control what they feel, and usually what they feel is pretty nasty. So they use, and that is common in narcissists and malignant borderlines. The difference is that healthy, normal people, when they realize there's a problem, get sober and start working on the problem. Disordered people do not. They continue on, or they do the whole communal narcissist thing, get involved in AA, become this sponsor that starts collecting people to them. Those are the ones you got to watch out for. So when I'm telling people to go to SA, which is Sex Addicts Anonymous, AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, NA, Narcotics Anonymous, CMA, Crystal Meth Anonymous, any of the A's, you got to be careful and watch for predators there as well, because they gravitate, remember, to positions of power. And what I see the disordered ones do is that they get into an AA or a CMA or in a position, they become a sponsor relatively quickly. And honestly, you should wait 2 years before becoming a sponsor, because that first year, you're just figuring out how not to relapse. Second year, you might be able to get your shit together enough to help somebody, but I would recommend waiting until the end of the second year, beginning of the third year, and then become a sponsor. Thing I don't like about AA is a lot of programs I see they push people as quickly as possible to become a sponsor, and I think that's a mistake. But what I see disordered people doing is that they will gather to them as many sponsees as possible. Why? Because they're communal narcissists, because narcissists need a groupie following that worships them and tells them how fabulous they are and whatever else is going on. And when you are in one of these programs, you want to make sure your sponsor has got the time to actually spend with you. So they should have no more than 2, maybe 3 other people that they're working with. Why? Because if you're freaking out at 10 o'clock at night, you need to be able to call that sponsor and go, fucking meet me at the nearest, coffee shop, talk me off the ledge I want to fucking use, and they have the time to do that, or they have the time to, to talk to you on the phone. If they've got 12 different sponsees, there's no way in hell they're going to have time to work with you to help you. So that's what you got to watch for. Yeah, there are predators in the AA system, in the NA, CMA, all of that. And you've got to be careful about it. So anyway, there is that. When you are divorcing, the temptation, like I said, is to make them pay. You got to get over the revenge thing, guys. And if you're surviving without their money, you can wait, at least in the state of Arizona, until they're 18. And sometimes that's better because, like I said, Dwayne and I were talking about it. Sometimes when you go back and you poke the bear, now they're demanding full custody. So you've been fine doing whatever custody agreement you had. You suddenly ask them for money after they haven't been paying for a few years, and then boom, they're back to an attorney. Now you're back in court. Now you're spending tons of money you don't have anyway, and they're asking for full custody. And they're just poking the bear, sending nasty emails, texts, whatever, all over again. So you really need to weigh out the pro and the con. Is it worth it? And you've got to think of the worst case scenario. What do you know about your abuser? Are they the type of person that will up the ante and ask for full custody? Now, getting back to porn again, here is something else I have seen abusers do. They will claim that the other person is looking at porn or whatever, or child porn or whatever, and then set them up for a sting. I've seen that happen as well. And, back in the 90s, this happened a great deal in Arizona. It did. And then they're so stupid, though, that they eventually tell on themselves. So eventually they'll tell a family member, oh, well, no, the FBI gave me a courtesy interview before they raided the house. Bullshit. The FBI doesn't do that. The FBI does not do that. So you can bet your sweet bippy that person, whoever that was set up. So there is that. And so that's why you've got to be really, really good at documenting, really good at understanding who your abuser is, how far they're willing to go. Trust me, these abusers will go as far as they think they can. They have absolutely no moral compass. Their depth of depravity is non-ending, because they need to be right. And they need to be winning all the time. It's a win, at the cost of the kids. So yeah, be very careful. If your partner is into porn and stuff like that, you document everything. Document. And if you've got a reunification therapist that is pushing their own values on it and trying to protect the abuser as protecting the kids, contact your state board, file a complaint. Okay, I want to get to questions because I know we've got a whole bunch of questions about this. Let me see where I am. Why do I not see questions? There should be questions up here. Hang on. Oh, that's why I don't see questions, because I'm in the wrong spot. Found it. Okay, so some of these questions are on point. Some of them are a little off point, but I'm going to make them pointed towards what we're talking about today. What do we do with all the bottled emotions? You write them out. You write and burn, write and burn, write and burn, write and burn. Why? That's an old question? Well, I'm going to answer it anyway. Thanks for playing. That was my husband. So when we are in court, you've got to understand the whole point, the whole thing that your abuser wants is for you to come unhinged. They want you to act out in court. They want you to come unglued. They want you to get emotional and cry and whatever, because it makes them look sane. And then they'll sit back and just be cool as a cucumber. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, when you have to be in court, you stay ice cold, calm, rational, cool. Okay. And you keep a little pad with you that you can write things down on to show your attorney. So like, let's say the opposing attorney says something completely egregiously wrong, a lie, basically. You can say, no, that's not correct. This is what happened. And then you show your attorney. But you yourself, you stay absolutely gray rock. Absolutely gray rock. The judge does not like emotions, okay? Judges don't want anything that's going to slow down the hearing. You have to understand. They're there to get you off the docket. They're there to get you to agree and to get off the docket. What narcissists think is that this is the great platform for their worldview, and they're going to play to the balcony. And they do, and the judge gets sick of it. So if you stay calm, cool, collected, on point, rational, and they're emotional and all over the place and getting pissed off because you're not getting emotional, so much the better. Okay. What if the narcissistic person is actually on the other side of things and have the money to do so and continually try to get more and more and attain all of that with laws? What is your advice then? Okay, what if the narcissist is actually on the other side of things and have the money to do so and continually try to get more and more and attain all of that with laws? What is your advice then? Well, they're going to. I have a client that was dragged back into court every year for 12 years. Every year without fail, and sometimes every 6 months, depending on where the narcissist was. So really all you can do is document and talk to your attorney and see if there's any way to make them stop. In that case, the judge finally saw what was going on, but you have to remember, some judges are themselves disordered. So hopefully you'll get in front of a judge that will be able to take a look at the pile of papers and realize, no, this is wrong, this is bullshit. So you got to get with a good attorney. Here's the thing, guys. When you are divorcing a narcissist, when you are divorcing somebody who is disordered, you have to have an attorney. You don't have the luxury of not having an attorney, because oftentimes these people will hire, big guns kind of thing and try to take you to the cleaners. Okay. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's a pain in the ass. Yes, it's a problem. However, if you can get them handled and put down, then it's unlikely that they'll try again. So when they try again is when you have an attorney who's over here going, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, and they don't really go balls to the wall, basically, and fight for you. You need an attorney who is absolutely going to go balls to the wall and go, Your Honor, nope. Here, look at, on page, blah, blah, blah. This is what happened. Nope. Do you see where I'm going? You need an attorney that is actually going to stop their narcissistic attorney and them. So it's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen. It's just going to happen. They use the courts. They do. They use the court as their circus. It's their platform to push their agenda because they want to show the world how crazy you are as opposed to how crazy they are. However, a lot of times it backfires on them because the judges eventually figure it out. So, and especially if you have a good attorney who's on top of it, who's like, Your Honor, we've gone through that 3 years ago. Back on this page, this is when we went. You see where I'm going with that? So yeah. All right. Teens don't want to go to therapy. How do you convince them to go and how they can benefit from it? Well, basically go with them. It's funny because oftentimes I'll have kids that, the parents call and they're like, wow, I really, I want my kid to go to therapy, but they're scared and they're da-da-da. I said, have them come in. Have them come in. Let's have them sit in on a session so they can see how it goes. And then 9 times out of 10, they'll look at the mom in the middle of the session and go, leave, I want to talk. Which makes me very happy because that means they're feeling safe. So we're scared of things that we don't know. We're scared of things that we don't understand. So if they have not been around therapy or don't understand what it is, then have them come sit in on a session or go in on a session with them so that they can understand what therapy is like. So yeah, I think that's a really good way to do it. And honestly, the way you help them understand, it's like, well, look, mommy or daddy goes because we have a safe place to vent. And because of HIPAA laws, they won't tell us anything. The only time I ever tell parents anything about their kids is if they are a danger to themselves or a danger to somebody else. So let's say one of the kids starts talking suicide. Okay. Then I will pull mom or dad in, but only after speaking to the child first and explaining why it's so important that they talk to their mom or their dad about what they are feeling. And then I have them do the talking and I kind of help them along so that they get this dialogue going with their parent. And it usually ends up really well. So, but if there's a parent that is disordered or, trying to use the kid as a pawn, I stick very strictly to that unless it's danger to self or danger to others. Do you see where I'm going with that? So, I do that anyway, but it's like in most cases, if there's something that needs to be talked about to the parent, I will have the child use their own words, talk to the parent about it. So you just explain to them, and it's good to have somebody to vent to. So what do you think about certain life coaches that tell you you need to feel grateful, really, for the abuse or rape because it helped you to become a better person and achieve things in life as a result? Those are the ones I want to bitch slap. Look, shit happens. Does it make us a better person? It can. It can. Absolutely. I would not be doing what I'm doing today had it not been for all the shit I went through. However, do I feel grateful for it? No. Am I justifiably angry that I had to go through it? Yeah, you betcha. So they're trying, God love them, or as in the South, as they would say, bless their little hearts. They're trying to spin it to a positive, but they are not taking into account that you have been through something horrible and you have the right as a human being to be pissed as fucking hell about it, and that you don't have to be grateful for it ever, and that, yes, it has made you who you are, and, probably would have been nicer if you didn't have to go through that. So it's almost like invalidating or denying what you went through. Absolutely. Would I ever want to go through my childhood again? I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Seriously, I wouldn't. It was terrible. It was horrible. It was awful. And it did affect me in my young adult years. You betcha, led to alcoholism. Hello, no, I would not wish that on anybody else. So they're trying to put a positive spin, and positivity is great, guys. You know this. I do positivity a lot. Hang on. Like when I talk about doing the mirror work, hi, good to see you. Have a great day. I give you permission to like yourself and then walk out, that kind of thing. But to tell somebody, oh, well, you should be grateful for being raped. You should be grateful for having been abused by your mother, or you should be grateful for having been abused by your spouse. You should be great. That invalidates what we went through. And that is no bueno. And that is bad juju, because basically it's saying you don't have a right to feel angry. You don't have a right to feel sad. You don't have a right to feel what you're feeling. So do not invalidate what the client has gone through. Ever. Put a positive spin on it. Okay, it happened. It sucked. You have a right to be pissed. You have a right to be angry. You have a right to be sad. What are we going to go do moving forward? Never invalidate what they went through. Ever. Period. Bless their little hearts. All right. Do narcissistic mothers leave you alone after you have gone no contact? No. Do they let you live your life if you have cut all ties altogether with everyone they know? No. So here's the deal. They would rather have any abuser would rather have a fucked up, dysfunctional connection to somebody than nothing at all. What they will do is they will go on a smear campaign. So they may be leaving you alone, but I can guarantee you that you will start getting phone calls, texts, emails, postcards, whatever, from flying monkeys. So they cannot just leave well enough alone. They don't. Every Christmas, every New Year's, every birthday, every anniversary, every whatever, you'll get this maudlin, poor me, email, card, text, whatever. I love you so much. I miss you so much. But they're still not in therapy, and they're still not working on themselves. And you've heard from several sources that they have run around town and told anybody who would listen what a horrible person you are. No, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. No, they generally don't stop. The only time I've seen them stop is when they have another supply. So remember, it is all about supply, guys. These abusers are all about supply. Who can feed their ego? Who can make them feel good? Who can make them feel fantastic? Okay. So they will then tout whoever the new supply is as, oh, they're just like a daughter to me, or oh, they're just like a son to me, or oh, whatever, trying to rub your nose in the fact that they've found somebody to replace you. So it's all about supply. And, yeah, no, they generally don't stop because they keep circling back around every once in a while and poke to see if you're going to play. So yeah, sometimes they do though, sometimes, but very rarely. And it's usually only when they have another supply. All right, what do you do with a controlling mother that is very aggressive and you want to cut off, but you're scared because of the fact she's so aggressive? It's called a restraining order. Seriously, here's the thing. When somebody, and I don't care who they are, and remember, spouses can do this too, moms can do this, dads can do this if they're disordered. If they're very, very aggressive, they're not going to honor your boundaries. They don't. It's all about boundaries, guys. So if you are dealing with a spouse that is abusive, has been abusive, has beat you, has harmed you, has smeared you, has done whatever, or a mom that has beat you, harmed you, smeared you, very aggressive, whatever, you go no contact. You don't tell them. This is the thing. This is the big mistake everybody makes. They're like, well, I'm going to go no contact. Well, why the fuck would you tell them what you're going to do? Stop it. Stop oversharing. This is the big thing, is that we tell our abuser what we're going to do. We do. We tell our abuser what we're going to do. Stop. They don't need to know. They are not on a need to know basis. So, and again, you only go no contact if you're not in the middle of a custody situation. Okay. I just want to make that clear. So you go no contact. And if they continue to harass and send nasty things and have other people, then you file an order of protection. That's as simple as that. You cannot allow yourself to be held hostage to fear. So a lot of times in these divorce cases, the other partner, the same one, is terrified. Well, what if? What if they do this? What if they do that? I can't do this. I can't. You cannot allow yourself to be held hostage to fear. You can't. And you must listen to what your attorney is telling you. If the attorney is sitting there going, file an order of protection, then you file an order of protection. If the attorney and the therapist is saying that, then you file an order of protection. Do you see where I'm going with this? So you want to not allow yourself to be run by fear. We oftentimes stop ourselves from getting out of an abusive situation because we're terrified. And we allow that fear to stop us. So we stay stuck. And if we're stuck, that means we're going backwards. Okay? We're not moving forwards. We're moving backwards. So a lot of times what I hear from people leaving an abusive relationship, it's the financial, and that's intentional. The abuser, male or female, guys, remember, females can be abusers as well, will make it so that the person has no money. No money. Oh, you can't work. You need to stay home and take care of the kids. Oh, you can't work because I'm making enough money for both of us. Oh, you can't work because I'm jealous of who your boss is, and I think you're sleeping with everybody at the company, and blah, 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 blah. They make it so that the target of abuse does not have financial means. And then when we divorce, the fear is, oh my God, they're going to wipe us out. Well, they're going to try. You betcha. So here's the thing. At least here in Phoenix, we have something called the Fresh Start. And guys, if you could put this down, that would be good. Fresh Start Women's Resource Center. And I'm pretty sure they're nationwide. If not nationwide, there's almost a Women's Resource Center in every single state. So it's the Fresh Start Women's Resource Center. It is great for getting free legal advice. Okay. They do a little clinic on how to fill out divorce paperwork. They have a clinic for how to do a resume. They have a job board that you can use. They also have housing that you can sign up for. So you want to look into that stuff. Here's the thing. I tell the people that are in domestic violence situation, male or female, you need to save up as much money as you possibly can. If they are giving you money for groceries, excellent. Pocket the money, go to the food bank, only use the grocery store for fresh produce, and save the rest that you got, saving it from the food bank. Okay. You need to start stocking up money. I keep telling people that. Go to Fresh Start Women's Resource Center. You have to figure out how to do the divorce. You need to figure out housing. You need to figure out, where you can go and what you can do and what jobs are available. Update your resume, all of that stuff. You're going to need that. You are never going to be able to heal if you are still in abuse. The abuser will sabotage it. If they see you doing better in therapy, guess what they're going to start doing? I don't want you going to therapy anymore. Okay. That's what they do. And they will sabotage any job that you get. Oh, well, you can't have the car today. I need the car. Oh, well, you can't have this today. I need this. And they'll stop you from going to your job and make sure you get fired. So you want to find a job that's within walking distance if you can. And if not, then you want to make sure you have some form of transportation, some form, bicycle, Uber, Lyft, I don't care. But you've got to start making yourself self-sufficient. They're not going to like it, too bad. So it's really important that you not allow fear to stop you, because oftentimes what will happen is, I don't want to go to the food bank. That's scary to me. I don't want to go to the food. Well, okay, if you can go to the food bank and pocket that money, that's more money for an attorney, or that's more money for housing, or that's more money for fill in the blank, to get out. So a therapist, whatever, it's like, that's more money for you to get the fuck out of this situation. So take advantage of these things. There's also askbertha.com. Askbertha.com has got a whole bunch of low cost or free services in your area. It's kind of like a social services clearinghouse for your area. You just type in your zip code and it'll let you know what's available in your area. The scary thing of it is that in the Phoenix area, we are running out of shelter space. The domestic violence situation is not going away. In fact, I think it's getting worse. And we are running out of spaces. And every single shelter that I have contacted has said, nope, we don't have any space. And we very rarely do. I mean, the most we have a space for is maybe 6 hours and then it's filled. And they've got a waiting list. So it's a dire situation. So if you can take advantage of these things, take advantage of these things so that you can get out. So there that is. I hope that answered the question. I kind of went off on a tangent there. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That's the big thing. Don't be afraid. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to hate the fact that you got away from them. Absolutely. They're going to, do whatever it takes, because remember, in their mind, they have to win. So that's what that's all about. What would you say to a mom who doesn't have enough sense to keep her sex pics, oh God, off her phone and out of sight of her kids? I would say, hello, CPS. Seriously, that's a CPS call. Absolutely. I found out that my child's father has porn addiction shortly before the divorce. He has a fetish to certain body type. What is really behind porn watching and fetish? It's control. It's control. So you get to be in control. So especially, and I talked about this one time about BDSM. So oftentimes, bondage, discipline, sadomasochism. So oftentimes abusers are very attracted to that particular lifestyle because they like being the master, and they like, obviously, sadistic type of things. In a healthy person, you can play that, but it stops. It's like, okay, we're playing. Okay, here we are in the bedroom playing BDSM. Okay, and we're done and seen, and now we're going on with the rest of our lives. What ends up happening with an abuser is that never stops. That whole thing just keeps going, and they expect to stay in that role the entire time. So yeah, they are attracted to that. It's power and control. It's power and control. What signs of sexual abuse will children display? My 10-year-old sometimes sleep with her dad in his bed. How do I talk to her about it? She doesn't understand why I don't like it. So, okay, children will suddenly become sexual. So how do I explain this? They will be overly seductive. Okay, seductive like an adult would. They'll they'll know things about sex that they shouldn't, or they'll talk about sex the way they shouldn't, or that type of thing. Or they'll be terrified of going over to the mom or the dad's house because they're being abused and they don't want to go over anymore. And they'll say things like, well, I don't like it because mom's mean to me. And remember, females can be sexual abusers as well. This is not just the realm of men, guys. This is where, it can be everybody. I have seen female narcissists abuse their daughters, abuse their sons, etc. So they will say things like they don't want to go over to the other person's house. They don't like going over there. They don't like this. They don't want to be there. And you want to find out why. Why? Because, usually kids pretty much like spending time with both parents unless that parent is abusing them in some way, shape, or form. Now, again, sharing a bed, that is not great. Hang on a second. But sometimes it's necessary. If there's not enough room, like if you're, divorced and you're in a studio or a one bedroom apartment, you're going to have to figure out where everybody's going to sleep. And CPS will not do anything about that unless there is molestation going on. So I know she's 10. I know she sometimes sleeps in the bed with her dad, but if there is abuse going on, then yeah, that's a bad thing. But if there's not, then there's nothing there. So you just want to watch for abnormal behavior. Children sometimes act out. They get angry. They'll take it out on the spouse that's safer. They'll stop eating. They'll be overly sexual. They'll, the frequent yeast infections sometimes, or frequent problems, urinary tract type of thing. Those are the things you want to watch out for. So, okay. It was a shock to find out that the children's father is addicted to porn. How do I deal with those confusing feelings and shock? Write them out. Write them out, write them out, write them out, write them out and burn them. If you are still with that person, I don't know if you're still with them or not, but if you're still with that person, hopefully they are in therapy and they are working on the addiction. If they are not with that person, there is nothing you can do. Now, here's the other thing. Oftentimes the spouse will say things like, why wasn't I enough? How come they had to be addicted to porn? How come I wasn't enough for them? Male and female. Okay. So if the female is addicted to porn, the guys feel the same way. So, why wasn't I enough? It's me, it's me, it's me. No, guys, it's not you. If somebody is addicted to porn, that is their issue. It says nothing about you not being enough. Okay. It has to do with them. It has to do with power. It has to do with control. It has to do with how their childhood was. It has to do with when they first got exposed to porn, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So please stop saying, oh, it's me. I wasn't sexy enough. I wasn't sexual enough. I wasn't whatever enough. No, this has nothing to do with you. This has nothing to do with you. And I know that's a hard concept to wrap your head around, but it's true. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them, their childhood, their sexual development, power and control, et cetera. If they're willing to work on themselves, get them into a good sex addiction therapist and get them into Sex Addicts Anonymous. Do it. If they're not willing to work on themselves and they're not willing to go to SA, then peace out. You're done. So there that is. I know the narcissist is somewhat dangerous. We get anxious a lot and feel scared. Me and my partner are no contact with them all. Even changed city and number. What are your tips and suggestions that we can do? Also, how not to piss such narcissists off. Here's a newsflash. Your mere existence on the face of the planet is going to piss them off. It's just the way it is. The more empathic we are, the more authentic and genuine and real you are as a person, the more the narcissist wants you dead. That's just the way it is. This is why, people are so gobsmacked. I think that's a good word. I think that's my word for the day is gobsmacked. They're just gobsmacked when the abuser goes from the mirroring, love you, love you, love you, love bomb, love bomb, love bomb, you're the best thing ever, oh my God, blah, 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 to I want you dead. And the reality of it is that I want you dead is the real person. And that's the sad thing because we loved them, and they hate us when we do well. They do. They're not happy for us. They're not celebrating. They're not, it's not like, hey, good for you. It's more of along the lines of, I can't wait for them to fail, that kind of thing. So there's nothing you can do to not piss them off. They're pissed off anyway. The sun comes up in the east, they're pissed off. It's like I said, with somebody who's disordered, you can walk up to them and say, good morning, and it'll be fine. But then the next day you say, good morning, same exact way. And what does that mean? And fangs come out and whatever. So you cannot worry about pissing them off or not pissing them off. By you merely living your life and not allowing them to control you, that's pissing them off. Oh, well, sucks to be them. Not your problem. Not your problem. Does that make sense? Not your problem. So there it is. What do you do if you're being threatened with the will from a narcissist who's 85 years old? 85 years old. Oh, good Lord. I'm having a hard time reading this one. What you do if you being threatened with the will from narcissist, 85-year-old mother, if you report incest going on in narcissist family, how can they threaten will to not tell about crime they know about. Oh, wow, that was really convoluted. Okay, I'm going to try to answer this one. Okay.
They're being threatened by being cut out of the will if they report the incident.
Oh, they're being threatened by being cut out of the will if they report the. Thank you. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. No amount of money is worth it. No amount of money is worth it. It's not. So if there's incest going on, you effing report it. If they cut you out of the will, oh well, they cut you out of the will. It's not your money. This is what you have to get through your head. It's not your money. It's theirs. It'd be nice to have it for shizzle, but if they're going to use that as the sword over your head, so to speak, falling at any second, then it's not worth it. It's not worth it. My dad would write us out of the will in and out. He had more wills, because he was an attorney, than Howard Hughes. So depending on who had pissed him off that week, we were in, we were out. We were in, we were out. We were in, we were out. And he was always dangling the money in front of us. Well, do what I want, and I'll let you in the will. And we all finally just kind of went, fuck you and your money. I don't care. So, and you have to get to that point, because otherwise they're always going to control you if you allow it. Don't allow it. No amount of money is worth it. It's not. Because it's not money that's important. It's, even with traveler's checks, you can't take it with you. It's people. It's the emotions. It's the experiences. It's the joy. It's the, baby's laughter and kitty cats meows and dogs barking. That's the meat of life. It's living life. It's being in life. Now, does money make it better? Absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you. It does. However, if that money is being used to control you, then it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. You let that shit go. It's not yours. It's not yours. It's theirs. If they want to give it to you, great. If they don't, fucking great. If they're molesting somebody, report them. Simple as that. You have to live with yourself, and you have to live with your own regrets or whatever at the end of the day. So if you're allowing money to stop you from reporting abuse, then hell no. Yeah, moral compass. Hello. So don't allow a will to stop you from being you. Basically, don't allow money to stop you from being you. They do that. They use money as a way to control and manipulate. Don't allow it. Just don't allow it. It's not yours to begin with. You're doing fine without it. You don't need it now. If they decide to leave it to you, great. If they don't, great. How can we get rid of all the fleas we've gotten by living with a narcissistic mother? Therapy. Yes, therapy does help. It does. And you want to read up on CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. You want to start working on self-esteem with the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. You want to do The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker, okay? You also want to do Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie, Beyond Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie. Any of the codependent books by whoever, read them. You want to work on you. You want to be the most authentic you that you can be. So here's the deal. All of the fleas we get from them are behaviors that nobody likes, okay? Like the amoralness, the no moral compass, the harming people, the snarkiness, the meanness, the nastiness, the lying, the cheating, the stealing, the exaggeration, the whole thing. You want to get rid of all of those. You work with a therapist on it. You write down the list of what you see within yourself that you want to work on, and you go work on it. That's how you get rid of the fleas. It's mindfulness. Be mindful. What are you saying? What are you doing? Why are you saying it? Why are you doing it? What's the payoff? What's happening? So you be the most real you can be. Most authentic. And the most moral and the most next right step. What is the next right step? That's what you want to do. So that's how you get rid of fleas. When I came out of my family, guys, I had a whole bunch of fleas. Whole bunch of fleas. Whole bunch. And it took 7 years on a couch with Fabian Smith in Portland, Oregon, working on said fleas because I didn't like it. I didn't like who I was when I was acting like them. Does that make sense? So that's what I worked on. I worked on the depression, I worked on the anxiety, and I worked on the behaviors. And that's what you got to do. So get with a good therapist, get all the books that I talk about. I talk about them every damn week, and start working on you and get with a good therapist. Journal, write. Discover who you are. What do you want? What do you like? What are your goals in life? Not what they want, not what they like, not what they have planned for you. What do you want? That's the thing to start working on. Okay. All right. Where are we at? Oh, we're getting pretty close. Okay. So that was this week's stuff. I think I'm going to cut it short today. Actually, short, 2 minutes. So next week, I am going to have a hypnotherapist on. She works at Aurora Natural Medicine, and her name is Sarah, and she is going to be talking about the benefits of hypnotherapy with trauma. So I think that is huge because people have been asking me, what do we need to do in order to get rid of the trauma? EMDR is great. It is, but it does not work for everybody. Hypnotherapy is great. It also doesn't work for everybody, but I want her to come on and talk about hypnotherapy and how it can help, because that's another avenue to work on trauma. So I think it's important that I expose you guys to as many modalities as possible so that you have an option of what to do in order to work on the original trauma. Okay, kids, I'm going to cut it short. Have a great day. Next week will be Sarah from Aurora Natural Medicine. We will be talking about hypnotherapy. Don't forget that the cruise is still open. You guys can still sign up for that. We still have tickets available for Vegas. If we go over 10, we'll just put more tickets out. That works for me. All right, kids, that's it. Have a great day, and I will talk to you later.